Now, most of my friends, when you buy a motorcycle, either used or new, one of the first things you want to do is kind of customize it, make it your own, change a few things, bars, seat, pegs, something to make it totally personal. Well, when I bought the MT09, and I just sat down with a sketch pad and I had 100 ideas of what I wanted to do to it, including getting rid of that rear tail light, that bracket, and painting up a lot of the parts, getting it some kind of a little windscreen, a fly screen for it, and Vlad offered to get me some carbon fiber parts for it. And at the end of 2 years, and it took most of 2 years to do it, I have it that I really think it's a one of one. And if you want to watch this in 4K, just adjust your device. We are in the part of the year right now where it's getting hotter by the day. We're trying to get out earlier and earlier in the morning, try to beat some of the traffic anyway. But when it's hot like this, I like to be out of here early and get all the farm chores done and get back early and get in some air conditioning. Now, as I pre-flight the bike, lubing the chain from time to time, and I always have that little rag that catches all the overage. That seems to work pretty well for me. I like to clean the bike every time I ride it. The last time we got caught in the rain a little bit, and everything was, I cleaned it, but it still needs to be detailed. And no matter how clean I make it, I always find something that doesn't look exactly the way I want it. And I spent so much time making this bike one of one. I wanted it to be a total custom that I would never, ever go to a bike meetup and see somebody who had a red one exactly like it, or a blue or green or yellow, whatever. And I think I've succeeded. Yeah, some people agree, some don't. Doesn't really matter. The little details like the screening, the John Pothier, the graphics, some of the little things around the headlight, painting things shiny black instead of flat black. A big one, polishing the exhaust. And the biggest one of all, painting the wheels. That was super labor intensive. And for anybody who doesn't follow the channel, every one of the steps of making this bike a one of one is on our channel in individual videos, from painting the tail section, putting custom screening in places where there should be none, and the big one, painting the wheels. That is a labor of love. If you go to paint your wheels, be aware it's not a one afternoon job. I do love the stock exhaust because a lot of the area where I ride, I have to go through some pretty populated areas, and I don't want to attract any unnecessary attention. The radar detector keeps me safe from all harm. Every morning, Karen comes out. We do what we call a perp walk, check out the garden, check out the vegetables, pick some fresh flowers for the house from time to time. And thank you, Joe Padula, for helping me do those white stones. A couple of years ago, we did that garden. And a little memorial to my late pet Baltimore Oriole chickie, who lived with me for 7 years in my house, not in a cage. And by the way, that video is out on the channel too. Just look up Lord Baltimore. It'll come right up. Anyway, the pond is all set. I got to clean and scoop, feed the fish. I like to get all the chores done because then basically I can run myself ragged, and when I get home, I can just crash with a fresh cup of coffee out on the porch. Now, I understand some of my friends like to keep their bike as stock as possible, especially if they're doing some kind of collection that every bike has to be exactly as it left the factory. I don't care about what it left the factory. I want it when it's in my garage, and I want it to be that people know right away that it's my bike. And again, several of my friends like to collect limited edition ones where it's 10 of 50 or whatever. And that's another cool thing too. But I think the coolest thing of all is if you have one of one. I don't know how you could have, how it could be any more unique than that. And one of the things I strive for is to keep the bike looking so you know right away it's an MT09, but in the back of your mind, even if you really if you have an MT09, you're looking, what year is that? When did they make that paint? When did they put that? When did they do this? And that's what I like. And this bike has the guts, the things that I think are important for me, the quick shifter, the ABS, the ride modes, the rain ride, the anti-wheelie feature, the traction control, all of that. But the appearance, that's the thing I want to make so people know it's my bike. But the really nice thing about motorcycling, all motorcycling, is it's like a buffet. There's things that entertain everybody, things people like, touring, dirt bikes, trials bikes, you name it, drag bikes. There's room for everybody, and the neatest thing of all is at the end of the day, we can all be friends and admire each other's machinery. Now, my favorite riding area is about 30 miles up Route 80 from my house, and to me it's worth it to just get away from the traffic. I don't like riding if I can see a car either in my mirrors or in front of me. I like to be the only guy on the road. And that's a big part of what I really like about the bike. That muffler has a beautiful sound like an Indy car. When you're riding the bike, when you're going through the gears with the quick shifter, the sound is just beautiful to me. And it's not loud and obnoxious that the babies jump out of the baby carriages or people want to shoot you. And I've had 3 different sets of tires on this bike already, and the Michelin 5s are by far my favorite. And I've got a set I haven't even put on a bike yet, and thank you, Vlad. A set of Michelin 6s, we're going to see how they wear and then do a comparison, and we'll share all the data. And whenever anybody has not ridden an MT09 and they get to have a test ride or get to ride one of their friends' bikes, the comments are always the same. You fall in love with the motor, the low end torque, the tuning of that exhaust system. Yamaha got all their ducks in a row, and to me, once you get the aesthetics right, it's a great bike. Now, I try anytime I'm going for a ride, I try like heck to have my Valentine radar detector aboard, and it has saved my bacon so many times. So many times I have to go through these populated areas like right here, and you go around the corner and they're doing some kind of silly ass radar check or checking for I don't know what. But anyway, the Valentine works. So on this road, and this is kind of a back road, it's usually got a little bit of sand after a rain like we just had, and you got to be a little careful, but this really got my attention today. That tree could have fallen the other way, and you'd come around that turn, and there'd be sand in the road. You can see the loose stuff, and talk about it could ruin your whole day. And that has already happened to me with the R1. I had that happen in Harriman Park. That just minutes before I got there, a tree had fallen across the road. And here's a couple of photos of that incident. I went down this road. That tree was not there. Turned around, came down the road at a little sport bike speed, and that could have ruined. You look at that close. That happened pretty quick. And riding the back roads, you always have the deer, you always have the turtles crossing the road, small animals, big animals. You always have something you have to deal with. But trees, you don't expect to get up in the morning and see a tree like that. And that road, that's in Harriman Park there, by the way. This is an old video, but I never forgot that day when I came around that corner coming the other way, and it was not a lot of warning. I was very impressed. 'Cause, 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 'c So the day really heated up. It's over 90 degrees now on the little thermometer I have on the bike, and I got cooked on the way home, but it was worth it to get the ride I had today. It was a wonderful ride. Boy, did it get hot at the end of this ride. This is the first day I think when I went back in the garage. It's over 90 when I got back. Hot. It's hot. We're riding in Mexico now. It's unbelievable. Gotta get a sombrero. Anyway, the whole idea of shooting these videos is that if you're stuck at your office or who knows what, sitting home in an air-conditioned room, you can go along on these rides with us. The ride area that I have is very, very nice in northern New Jersey, southern New York. Very, very nice. And I hope you enjoy just coming along for the ride with me, visiting our farm, hanging out with us, and going for a ride. So I always say, if you've watched the video up to this point, or if you're a regular subscriber, you probably have a passion for motorcycles the same as I do, and it's hard to describe to people that don't have the passion, but I know you do, and I do too. And thanks so much for watching.